Hey everyone, Pat Francis here. I wanted to take you through a little tour of how the podcast gets recorded, put on a flash drive, and then eventually uploaded to the internet. So, first thing we do is, let me see if I can do it with one hand, because my other hand is working the camera. Open this up, and we put it into the computer, and then it's going to pop up on the screen in a minute. Hopefully, there it is. And we find it. I'm going to open up that flash drive. This is the Minnesota episode, and that is a GarageBand file, which I will pull to the desktop. And then we will wait. Okay, now I got the GarageBand file on the desktop. Gonna go up there and find it with my cursor. There we go. I'm going to open this thing up. This is for the Minnesota Rocks episode. So right here, that's me, and that's producer Kyle's track, and that's the guest track, and then the NoFX is actually the music track. So what I do now is I go up to where it says share, and I'm going to send this to iTunes. So I have to fill in these. I'm going to send it to a playlist called Podcast to Post. That says Pilar, but we're going to change that to my name. We do the same thing with her podcast as well. I got to capitalize my name. I didn't say it would be fun to watch. I just said it would be, I would just take you through the process. And then the album name is going to be Rock Solid. This will give you a little bit of an idea of what goes on besides the fun and games. And I click share. And then again, it's creating a mix down. And you can see that's going to take a while. And this whole thing, until it gets to iTunes, takes about, depending on how long the episode is. And this episode, Minnesota episode, is 2 hours and 17 minutes so far. Still have to add the theme song, but we'll get to that. But this whole process takes about, 5 to 10 minutes just to open GarageBand and send it to iTunes. Okay, so the file has been sent to iTunes, so I can quit out of GarageBand. I do not need to save anything. And then we go to the playlist that I sent it to, which is Podcast to Post, Rock Solid. And we scroll down here and we're going to see all, here's all the ones. This says the Clash and Clash 2 because in the middle of recording, the computer stopped. So we had to do another file, so those needed pieced together. But here it is. Here's the Minnesota episode. So what I do now is I want to show this in the Finder. It's going to open up in the Finder. Scroll here a little bit. And then I'm going to open that with something called Sound Studio. And that's where we do any editing that we need to do. Sound Studio. And then the file, how long is that going to take? Okay, so this is what the file looks like in Sound Studio. It says Rock Solid Minnesota at the top. There's 2 tracks because it's in stereo. And then what I need to do is I need to go up top to the filter, and I come down and I do something called dynamic compressor, and it highlights the whole track or both tracks. Then I click on OK, and it's going to expand these tracks in case we were too quiet or if one mic was quiet. And there we go. That's how it has widened all the tracks. And I can go over here and I can expand it a little bit. This is for editing purposes. If there's anything you need to edit out, you can make a mark in and then a mark out and highlight the section and pull it right out. And I am going to have to do that with this episode because I made a mistake regarding the band Motion City Soundtrack and Tony Thaxton. So now we're going to do some editing. I'm going to go to the beginning of the track.
these are your headphones. Is that good? Is it too much? Not enough? Down?
Now that's just the banter that we're doing, getting our headphones set up, making sure my guest co-host, it's, you know, the music's not too loud in our heads, and I'm just going to find out where the episode actually starts.
Was going to do. So I just think they're still working on getting that done.
Some have it. Like, I think My Favorite Murder, because, like, it's got to go off the grid.
Mike, let's talk about you a little bit.
Nope, that's not
The
it.
topic today.
I did.
And
Maybe it's here.
It is weird with the noise canceling.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like I can kind of hear stuff out
Yeah.
there, but, like,
It's like
these are $350 a piece headphones.
you have to do a spot for them. Is anyone working on that for a podcast to be able to swap in new ads?
That was what Art 19 was going to do. So I just think they're still working on We'll do a little talk, and then before we start playing music, that's when I'll do this copy.
Sure.
And I'm going to turn the air on.
You guys gonna talk first?
So again, this is tedious sometimes to find out where the show actually starts.
Hey everybody, welcome to Rock.
Oh, okay, there it is. So, that green line there, I make a mark. I highlight everything that came before it. I copy that, because then I'm going to put that in, I'm going to make a new file. And I'm going to save this as, I'll just call it Minnesota Banter. And I'm just going to save that to the desktop. Very quick because it's short. Close out of that, and then I'm going to remove. So now the episode starts right with,
Hey everybody, welcome to Rock Solid, the comedy pub.
and I'm even going to clean that up just a little bit more even.
Hey everybody, welcome to Rock Solid, the comedy pub.
All right, now the next thing I do is I got to put the theme song in. So I have to go to the 25-second mark exactly, which is right. That's 20. I got it right on the money right there. I'm going to mark it. Then I'm going to highlight the first 25 seconds, and then I'm going to open up a file that has the theme song. So there's the file that has the theme song. This area down here is where I need to paste in what I just highlighted and copied. So in order to do that, I have to highlight just this part down here, and I paste the first part of the episode in. Then I have to go up here to audio, and I have to mix the whole thing down to stereo. And I highlight all of that, copy it, go back to this file, and paste it in there. And now let's see if we have the song. And then I'll catch it up to where the talking should start.
In what I like to call the listener
not there.
series.
Here we go.
I think this might be chapter. Hey everybody, welcome to Rock Solid, the comedy podcast for all things music, both new and classic. I'm Pat Francis.
And I'm Kyle Dotson.
Kyle joining us today. It's another chapter in what I like to call the listener series. I think this might be chapter 5. I'm not sure.
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Let me.
So that's how the song gets in there. Then I have to go back to this file and I have to close it. And when it says, do I want to save it? I do not, because it has to be the way it was when I started. All right, so that's where we're at now. Again, there's only one edit in here. I'm going to find it without filming it because that's going to be tedious. Here's the part you're not going to be hearing in the regular episode. At about 1 hour and 20 minutes, I play a song from Motion City Soundtrack. And I start to talk about Tony Thaxton, friend of the show. And I'll just play a little bit of it for you.
What do I got? Okay, now this is a friend of the show. Friend of the show, Tony Thaxton's band, Motion City Soundtrack.
I think I maybe left Minnesota by the time they were.
This is a non-album single called Inside Out. This came out in 2013. And check this out. Tony's on drums. I try to run, I try to hide.
Okay, so now the problem is Tony is not on drums on that song. That song was recorded after Tony left, and I did not do my research. So Kyle points it out to me after the fact, and so we have to go in and clip that part out. Yeah, so I'm going to play a little bit of it, and then I'm going to edit it, and you'll see how that works. Here we go.
Far left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Graham's sister.
It's going to get to this red line here. That's where my...
His name's Elwood.
It is Elwood.
Yes. What do I got? Okay, now this is a friend of the show. Friend of the show, Tony Thaxton's been.
So then I play a song, and but I need to take it out because Tony's not on that song. So I'm going to do that, take that out, and now it's just going to sound like this.
So her last name's Elwood.
It is Elwood.
Yes.
The song I'm gonna play next is by a band called Walt Mink.
So right here on this red line is where the edit was made. Right here. And pretty easy, pretty seamless. And we will play a Tony Thaxton song later. After my co-host Mike Beats played a song, after the song, Kyle informs me of this.
Tony Thaxton does not play drums on Inside Out.
Are you shitting me?
No.
You know what?
I have to cut that out.
And you know what? I thought the drums weren't too good on that song. How do you know? You looked at. I thought I checked this out.
I was looking up to what album he wasn't on, and it just says here, he left the group in March 2013. The band enlisted longtime friend Claudio Rivera of Saves the Day as the group's new drummer, and released a one-off single, Inside Out, in celebration.
In celebration of Tony being out of the band.
I think that celebration of having another drummer.
Well,
I don't
Tony
know.
taught him how to play it though.
This is disappointing on many levels for me. I might actually take that whole entire Motion City soundtrack chunk out.
Sorry.
Okay, let's get a clean edit here then. That was awesome. What's that band again?
Walt Mink.
Walt Mink.
All right, so that's the magic. I'm gonna make a mark there. I'm gonna take out the stuff all about Tony and the mistake that I made. See it right there. I'm gonna hit delete, and now it's gonna go from the end of that song into what I set up as a clean edit.
That was awesome. What's that band again?
Walt Mink.
Walt Mink. What's that name come from?
College professor at Macalester College.
That's right.
So we had a little bleed over of Kyle saying, and I'll probably try to clean that up, but if not, you probably wouldn't even notice it if I didn't point it out right now. And anyone who's not a Patreon subscriber to this tier is never going to know it. All right, so I did take Kyle's little out of there, and this is how it sounds now.
That was awesome. What's that band again?
Walt Mink.
Walt Mink.
So that's another tiny edit. Okay, so what I did during the episode is because I messed up and didn't have a song that Tony played on, I just decided that the play out song would be a Motion City soundtrack song with Tony. So we put that
All right,
in at
we're
the
gonna
end.
play out Motion City soundtrack with our friend Tony Thaxton. Can't believe I didn't have one of their songs on the list earlier. This is from the album My Dinosaur Life from 2010. This is a song called Delirium.
There's a stain on the floor.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Now, because we never ever see, that's the whole song. If I scroll the whole way out, you can see all that is the whole entire song. But we never play the whole song for the play out. So I just pick a place to put a mark, and then I highlight it and I cut that, and then I highlight that much, and I go up here and click fade out twice, and then that usually fades the song out nicely. And that's how it'll be for the episode. So then I go up to the top. We're going to save this episode to the desktop. I'm going to call this, I think it's episode, I have my list of episodes. This is episode 320. So this will be RS 320, and I think we decided to call this Minnesota Rocks! Exclamation point. I'm going to save this at a high bit rate, 256 kbps, and I push save. And that's all you need to know right now. That's going to take about 3 minutes.